Hmm. Hello! Happy Monday. Here we are. We're back. Have you been paying attention to Miss McClendon's emails, Instagram? I don't really know. It's pajama day. Some of us have been wearing our pajamas every day for the last few weeks. However, now we're doing it together. Okay, so today we are going to be talking about. I wish my video wasn't so choppy. I'm so sorry. It's just the computer. We're going to be talking about point of view. Hopefully this is some review, but we always got to kind of activate those things from last year, from years before. So we're going to go ahead and get started. If you happen to have a notebook around your house, that would be super helpful because since I can't like print things and give them to you, you're going to have to kind of be writing stuff down. I'm going to try to make it as short as possible, but we're all doing this together and we'll make it work. So I have a notebook that's going to be my main thing. We'll be using the document camera, taking some notes together, going through that. As always, feel free to just shorten things, write what you need, same rules apply, all that stuff, okay? So go ahead, find yourself a piece of paper, and this is tiny. Label it at the top, point of view and perspective, okay? And then underneath that, go ahead and write the word perspective. So we're talking about point of view, we're talking about perspective. They are two different things, but they come together in a story, okay? So perspective is a narrator's attitudes or beliefs about something I will try to write better. I'm so sorry. Based on personal experience. Okay? So, we each in our lives have different experiences, and that influences how we think about events or see things or interpret different things that happen in life and in the world. And the same thing happens in a story. So you might have a character who's lived a super, super sheltered life. So they see something happen and they're like, oh, this is really nice. And you might have a character who has been exposed to a lot of terrible things and they see something happening and they view it in a totally different way. Okay, so perspective is that specific thing based on a character. Point of view is kind of more of like the perspective that they tell the story in, but also like how the narrator is communicating to you. Okay, so we're going to go with this being the perspective in which a story is told. Okay, I'll give you a couple seconds to go ahead and get that written down. And so there are 5 different point of views that we typically see in texts. Okay, and so again, oh my gosh, there's hair in my mouth. So again, this is how they're kind of like writing for you. This is the way that the narrator is communicating with you and just that perspective in which they're telling the story. Okay, so the first one we're going to talk about is first person. And I just put these brackets here because I didn't make a chart or anything. This was just kind of a way for me to keep it organized. You do what you need, as always. Okay, if you are super creative, you can just like draw these into beautiful notes. Some of us don't have those gifts, so we're not going to do that. All right, so first person point of view. Your narrator is a character. Okay, so the narrator is in the story. They are telling you about the story as they are in it, okay? And so we get access to that character's thoughts, feelings, etc. Okay? So this is like we're reading something and they say, I did this, I did this, I did this, we did this. I was very upset about this and this and this. So you only really know what's in that character's mind because they are telling you the story. So you are the first person narrator of your own life because you can't be telling anybody else what is going on in their heads, but you can tell us the story from your point of view. And those main clues are that it uses words like I, me, and we. So as you write that down, there is a little disclaimer with this. When you are trying to determine the point of view of something, do not use the dialogue as your guide. So something can be told in a different point of view, not first person, in one of the other ones, but somebody else could be talking and say, well, I went to the store. That doesn't make it first person. Okay, so don't use the dialogue as the way to help you, because dialogue can be whatever. People can be talking about different things all the time. It's more of that narration piece, so how the rest of the story is being told. Okay? Second person is weird. It is super, super weird. So the narrator makes you a character. Okay? So instead of them saying, I did this, or they did that, or telling us about, oh, Brandon walked to the store and he had a great day, it would be saying, you walk to the store, you open the door, you do this. Okay? So your main clue is that it uses words like you and us. I feel like we read a story earlier this year that had that, and I cannot remember for sure, so I don't want to say it, but I think we might have. One of our weird stories that we read always. I'm pretty sure there was something, but again, I'm not positive, so I can't say. You don't actually see this a lot. Oh my gosh, this hood. You don't see this a lot in like novels because it's kind of bizarre, but it is something to kind of know. All right, so then we have our third persons, and there are three of them, three forms of third person. Okay, so our first is third person objective. So the one thing that all of the third persons have in common is that the narrator is not a character. Okay, your narrator is some other person outside being telling the story. So it's like peering down and seeing it. Third person objective means you get no thoughts or feelings. So we're going to say we no thoughts or feelings. Oh, the sun is setting and it's getting dark in here. Okay, so it would be like telling a story about somebody else, and you don't tell how any single person in the story is feeling or thinking. You're just saying what happens. So I walked to the store, or she walked to the store. She bought this. She did this. She looked around and saw this. No thoughts or feelings at all. Your clues, which are going to be the same for all three of these, are that it uses words like he, she, and they. Thank you. Okay. So that's third person objective. And again, the beauty of this is that instead of yelling at me for going too fast, you can just pause the video if it's too quick, and there it is. Ah, what a glorious time for all of us. Okay, so our next one, third person limited. So third person limited, again, our narrator is not a character. This is the same for all three of these. Said. Overseeing, being, telling the story. In third person limited, we know one character's thoughts and feelings. So we think way back to when we read If I Grow Up. If I Grow Up is told in a third person limited perspective because it is told by somebody who is watching. So some other person is telling us about Deshawn's life. We know what Deshawn is thinking and feeling at all times. It explains that to us. We do not know what anybody else is thinking. So anytime Marcus is described, we don't know what's going on in his head. We only see what he does and says. Or if Terrell is being described, again, we don't know what's going on in his head. So third person limited, your narrator's telling a story from like an external overseeing thing, and it looks like a bear, and telling us just one character's thoughts and feelings in their brain. So we're just in the head of one person. And again, your clues are the exact same. So it uses words like he, she, and they. Okay, so it makes it difficult to tell between the three third persons because it uses the same kinds of words. It's told in a general same style. It's all just about whose thoughts, whose head do you get into? And so third person omniscient then, Jesus, this hood. Third person omniscient, again, your narrator is not a character. But we know everything. So we know everyone's thoughts and feelings. Okay, clues again, uses words like he, she, and they. Okay, so go ahead, pause it if you need to. Hopefully you can still see that. My video is going to run out in 2 minutes, so we are going to quickly do just like one or two together. So look at this guided practice. Number 1, Vince held the slice of pepperoni pizza in his palm as the cheese dripped through his fingers. He didn't know what to do. The cafeteria was afire with slices of pizza flying through the air. Splat! A greasy slice of sausage splattered on Vince's table. The sauce splashed up and hit his friend RJ in the chest. Ugh! RJ shouted as he fell into Vince's arms. I'm hit, Vince! So, we want to think, how is it being told? So we see the word he, so we know it's one of the third persons, okay? So do we know anybody's thoughts and feelings? He held the slice of pizza. That's just telling us what he's doing. This, he didn't know what to do. So that tells us that we get in his head. We are knowing that he doesn't know what to do. Do we get to see anybody else's? So our other character is RJ, right? We know what RJ says, but we never get in his head. So that means that the point of view is third person limited. Okay, so we only know Vince's thoughts and feelings. We do not get in anybody else's head. And we know that because it uses he, but only shows Vince's thoughts. Okay, so we are going to go ahead and wrap this up. If you want to do this last one on your own, that is always welcome and wise, but I'm not going to do it with you. So rewatch the video if you need to. Make sure that you get those notes down. Go ahead onto Google Classroom. Do your independent practice. Make sure you click turn in as soon as you are done. And then there is an exit slip as well. These are due by Wednesday. So you get 2 days to do all of your work for this, okay? We're not overwhelming you. 2 days. So go ahead, get yourself started. Email me if you have any questions, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye.